Hey everyone! Let's dive straight into this explainer and untangle what I like to call a grocery store grammar crisis. It's that classic everyday battle of some versus any. And honestly, it's a whole lot more fascinating than your old grammar textbooks made it out to be. Picture this. You're standing right there in the middle of the dairy aisle. Your partner turns to you and asks, "Do we need some eggs?" Totally normal, right? But then, literally in the next breath, they ask, "Do we have any milk?" Hold up. Why would someone ask for some eggs but immediately switch to any milk in the exact same aisle? They're both questions. This kind of random switch is enough to make your brain completely freeze up, like you're trying to solve calculus right there between the yogurt and the cheese. Well, we're going to solve this together. Here's our agenda for today. First, the traffic light rule. Second, offers and requests. Third, the no restrictions twist. Fourth, compound combos. And finally, real-life instincts.
All right, section 1, the traffic light rule. Let's establish our basic baseline.
So the traffic light rule is basically your grammatical baseline. Think of a green light for positive sentences. Use some. Green means go, right? The thing exists, like I bought some groceries. The groceries are real, they are in the bag. Now, the red light, that's for negative sentences. Stop, nothing here. Use any. Like, she doesn't have any experience. That means absolutely zero experience. And then we have the yellow light, which is for questions. Usually you're going to use any here. Like, do you have any questions? You're proceeding with caution because you genuinely don't know if the answer is yes or no. And this brilliantly shows the core difference between affirming something is real versus confirming it is completely missing. Saying there are some cookies on the table is a positive reality. Woohoo, cookies exist. But saying there aren't any cookies on the table uses that red light negative. Zero cookies, which is, frankly, a very sad reality. Moving right along to section 2, offers and requests. This is where we flip the rulebook and look at the hidden exceptions. Okay, so the crucial point here is that when offering coffee or requesting help, you switch from any to some simply because you expect a positive answer. This is where grammar gets emotional, you guys. You aren't just asking a random data gathering question, you're anticipating a yes. If you ask, "Could I borrow some money?" you're making a request, and yeah, you're expecting to get it. Notice how changing just one tiny word completely shifts the tone from a warm, polite offer to a neutral, almost robotic inquiry. Like if a barista says, "Would you like some sugar?" she's offering. She assumes you probably want it. But if she asks, "Do you want any sugar?" well, that's our yellow light rule kicking in. It's a genuine question, and she has zero expectation either way. This reveals the actual secret code. Human connection and expectation completely override strict sentence structure. You use some to create a warmer, more inviting interaction. Honestly, once you realize it's all about the feeling behind the word, everything just starts to click into place. Okay, section 3, the no restrictions twist. Let's see what happens when we use any in positive sentences. Using any in a positive sentence is literally the ultimate hack to sound easygoing and flexible. A lot of people think any is strictly for those red light negatives and yellow light questions. But when you drop any into a positive sentence, it suddenly transforms into a phrase meaning no restrictions whatsoever. For example, when you say any restaurant is fine, you're confidently stating that all options are open and good. You really don't care. Every restaurant is a good restaurant. Or you can sit in any chair. Pick one, whichever you want. Anyone can learn English. There are absolutely zero restrictions on who. See? This one tiny word just makes you sound incredibly flexible. Which brings us to section 4, compound combos. Let's apply this whole concept to people, places, and things. The exact same feelings apply right here. Saying, "I saw someone" confirms existence, while "I can't find my keys anywhere" confirms absolute zero. If you say, "Would you like something to drink?" boom, you're back to that warm offer expecting a yes. But if you're totally open for your weekend plans, you just say, "I'll go anywhere." The emotional rules of some and any perfectly attach themselves to these compound words. And finally, section 5, real-life instincts. It's time to put these feelings to the test. All right, imagine you're back at that coffee shop, and the barista is offering milk, actively expecting that you might say yes. Take a quick second to feel the intention here. Yep, exactly. It's some milk, because the intention is a warm offer, not a rigid investigation. You aren't doing grammar math in your head, you're just feeling that polite expectation. Now,
What if a client emails you a genuine question about your schedule, having absolutely no idea if you're free? They ask, "Do you have blank time this week for a call?" What word goes in there?
Since there's zero expectation of your availability, the yellow traffic light rule for any applies perfectly. They aren't assuming you're free, it's a completely open, genuine inquiry. And, if you're talking to a friend, you seamlessly use any preference as a negative, but any amount as a completely open, restriction-free positive. In one breath, you're setting a boundary with a red light, zero preference exists. In the very next breath, you throw the doors wide open, no restrictions on the amount they can borrow. Because at the end of the day, once you understand the emotion behind the word, you stop doing that mental math and it just becomes instinct. It's exactly like riding a bike. At first, you have to actively think about balancing and pedaling and steering. But eventually, you stop thinking and you just ride. Because ultimately, feelings are so much faster than rules.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about which of these hidden grammar feelings will change the way you communicate tomorrow. Was it realizing that using some in a question transforms it into a warm offer? Or was it that no restrictions twist of dropping any into a positive sentence to show total flexibility? Keep these emotional codes in mind, and you are going to be navigating conversations with absolute confidence.